particular levels. The other thing that I would point out from an accountability standpoint, I've indicated and believe it strongly, is that every individual student can succeed. That's another point of accountability. If that child is not succeeding, we're not answering. We're not meeting our test. And it's not uncommon for us to take individuals that are not going to school, maybe haven't been in school for a period of time. Our challenge is to be able to make that connection, to be able to get them into school, to be able to keep them into school, to be able to get them to be able to perform at their level and bring them to that level. And so, to me, it's just part of the normal. It's openness, it's transparent, and that's what's essential.
Dr. Hardman, coming from Florida and learning about St. Louis and the entire state of Missouri and what we have going on here, what do you think is the best recommendation for our region to really improve the special needs educational opportunities?
Change has to occur. Your numbers are no different, no better, no worse than most of the other states in the nation, but you're not meeting the needs of a number of children out there. You can't keep doing the same thing you're doing over and over and expect a different result. That's called lunacy or insanity. So we have to assume that you aren't insane or lunatic, and so you want to make some difference. And if that's true, then you're going to have to look at alternative methods of meeting the needs of these children. And one of the major things that's been proven over and over is to give the parent the choice. Allow the parent to have impact in there. Most of you are parents, and I think you know more about your child and know what's better for your child than any bureaucracy out there or anyone in an ivory tower. Just because someone doesn't have financial means, they should not be locked into a system that is not working for their child, while someone who has financial means has a way for their child to get out of that system. And that's what parent choice is about. And so I think the key here is to allow parent choice without trying to make the private school become a public school. There's a different level and different type of accountability that's held between the two groups. So you have to be careful on one hand not to say, okay, we'll let you have the scholarship, but only if you look exactly like what the child is coming from in the public sector. You've done nothing then, except maybe bigger bureaucracy. So basically, you've got to look at ways that you can improve that. And I would say internally in the public school system, I would be majorly concerned in my private school if I had a child that I spent a full year's time on and I lowered the expectation. That would drive me absolutely berserk. To be able to have to sit with a parent and say, well, we got to do more than we did last year because what I did didn't work. Well, they would leave me, quite honestly. But there should be some mechanism in the public sector that says, if we aren't making the change, we need to take the responsibility of do something to make the change. Don't just blame the parent. It's easy to say the parent didn't care. If you aren't making a change, something needs to adjust. And I think that needs to be one thing that's brought into any of the reevaluations. If we're going backwards, or having to add additional services now that child did not need previously, then we are not doing our job as educators, and we're failing a child.
Dave, I want to jump to you and ask, of all the states where special needs scholarships are offered, where are we seeing the most success? Which states have programs that are being successful? Obviously, Florida has something great going on. Where else are we seeing success?
I think it's a little bit difficult question to answer because we have the problem of defining what success means in the context of special needs education. It's difficult to measure in the same way that you would with traditional students by standardized testing. You can't sit a special needs child down and administer the same battery of tests and then compare them against others. So I think probably the best way to evaluate the success of a system is to look at its utilization by parents. And by that measure, I think that Florida clearly has the best current program in the nation. There are right now, I believe, 5 different states that have programs in place. However, in several of those states, they're brand new. Georgia, Utah, Ohio, all have fairly new programs. And whereas Florida's has been around for nearly 10 years now, it's by far the elder statesman. And what you typically see with these programs, once they've been adopted, is it takes a little bit of time for the parents to decide whether they want to pursue this new alternative or not. In Florida, they started with just 2 students the first year that the program was active, and now they've got more than 20,000. So I think that particularly what Florida shows us is that given the time for parents to acclimate to the new opportunities, for schools to equip themselves to deal with the potential for new students, you'll see gradual increases in the amount of parent utilization. So to answer your question once more, I think that Florida currently has the most successful program in that they have the highest level of usage.
There have been a lot of misconceptions, especially regarding the legality of the scholarship program. Can you speak to that?
Sure.
To talk about the legality of the program that's currently under consideration in Missouri, I first need to lay a little bit of a foundation for exactly what it does. It sets up a tax credit, and that tax credit would be available to people that contribute to certain types of charitable organizations. These are known as scholarship granting organizations. Now, the bill itself would not create any scholarship granting organizations, and it doesn't even necessarily require the bill's authorization for these scholarship granting organizations to form. For example, if I wanted to set up a nonprofit scholarship organization right now, I could do that. And people could contribute, and I could provide private scholarships to students. Nothing in the law would prevent me from doing that right now. What this program would do is it says if people set up that kind of a nonprofit scholarship organization, then the donations that are made to that organization they would be eligible for tax credits up to a certain amount. Individuals or corporations would be able to contribute into these programs and then claim up to a certain level of tax credit on their annual tax liability.